So we came to the final day. 8 laps of Hamilton in seas which would change as much as the seasons in just a matter of seconds. For the big guns today, it was make or break. Cedar Lake had virtually only to finish to win. Stefan had to win and at the same time pound Cedar Lake into submission. Water to the seaward side of the island was frightening, and those who had no chance of further pushing claims in the race quickly withdrew. So too did Visor, but like most things Garrity does, he went out in style, ripping his machine to match wood. As the rescue operation began, officials conferred hastily by two-way, and the race, with Stefan holding a commanding lead, was abandoned. Back on land, Garrity seemed to vindicate that decision.
Well, yes, we were level with him when it all happened, but that's just one of those biggest waves I've ever seen in my life.
How big?
I would say it would have to have been at least 7 metres tall when we started going into it.
Did you fear for your lives when things started to go wrong there?
Well, no, it happened pretty quickly. In fact, I think we nearly got halfway through it before the deck actually opened up. I could feel the power of the boat still driving it, and as long as the nose had popped up, I think we would have got through it.
Do you agree with the decision of the race officials to call the race off?
Now, that's a very difficult question. It's a points race, and we are offshore racers, and I don't honestly say that I can believe what he's done was the right thing, no.
Well, the incident involving you obviously helped the officials to make that decision. How would you have rated the seas out there today?
The seas are treacherous, but, you know, that's what offshore powerboat racing's about.
They're not the worst you've seen?
No, not at all. I saw some worse seas 2 years ago on the Pacific 1000 than what I saw out there today.
But the ugliness of the seas, whipped up by 30 knot southeasterlies around the idyllic islands, was a mere storm in the proverbial teacup compared to the tempest which was about to erupt on shore. Stefan, who poured tens of thousands of dollars into this effort, clashed publicly and heatedly with race organizer Bryce Bykoff.
This man has left his business, this bloke has left his business. There's 8 people to make this a reality.
I've got 2 guys over there who are expert racers who said to me there's danger to life and limb.
Mate, they have a throttle, they have a hand on the throttle. They also have the hand on the throttle and they slow down when it doesn't suit them.
Sure, yeah.
That's all they got to do.
A hastily convened drivers' meeting abandoned the leg, and Neville Kay in Cedar Lake was declared the winner of the Hamilton Island 1000.
Well, it probably could be disappointing, but I think it was very dangerous out there, and I think they've done the right thing by stopping the race. The conditions were very bad and very rough on that on the southern side of the island. If any boat had stopped on that side, they would never got their anchor down before they got onto the rocks, and they would have lost their boats and may have lost their life. So I think they have done the right thing by stopping the race.
How would you sum up the victory? Just consistency?
Oh, consistency. I mean, we could have won some of the legs, not quite easily, but we could have run the legs or run better in the conditions that we did. But it's a marathon race, and it's no good being in front halfway along. You've got to be in front at the finish.
Okay, Nev, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
But even with time to regain composure, Stefan was still furious at the decision which may have cost him the race.
It suited everybody to stop. They had nothing to lose. We're the only ones that had something to win.
Will you come back to this race after the disappointments of today?
I love the sport, yeah.
So you'll race the Hamilton Island 1000 again?
I'll race whenever they race again.
The day left a deep and ugly scar on the inaugural Hamilton Island 1000, but that wound was partially covered up that night as Keith Williams announced he would continue sponsorship, and the racers said they'd be back next year to tackle the race which hopefully in the next few years will become known as the Bathurst of the Sea.